Australian 20-cent coin from the year 2000. You might be holding onto a piece that could completely turn the tables for you. It may look like an ordinary coin, but some of these 20-cent pieces are worth far more than their face value, and collectors around the world are willing to pay surprising amounts for them. Stick around until the end of this video, because I'll reveal how much these coins are worth according to eBay, major online auctions, and how you can sell them the right way for maximum value. The Australian 20-cent coin from 2000 is a fascinating part of modern numismatic history. It was struck by the Royal Australian Mint and features the elegant platypus design created by Stuart Devlin, the same artist behind much of Australia's modern coinage. On the obverse side is the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, showing her profile as used during that period, reflecting the stability and heritage of Australia's currency system. Now, while millions of 20-cent coins were minted in 2000, not all of them are the same. A very small number were accidentally struck using the obverse die meant for the Australian dollar, creating what's known as the mule error. This happens when two mismatched dies are used together during production, and in this case it led to a 20-cent coin that doesn't look quite right. The Queen's head appears slightly larger and closer to the rim than normal. This simple mistake created one of the most sought-after Australian coin errors of all time. Collectors refer to this as the 2000 20-cent mule coin, and its value can be jaw-dropping. On eBay, genuine examples have sold for anywhere from $2,000 to over $10,000 Australian dollars, depending on condition, certification, and provenance. In some professional auctions, high-grade versions certified by PCGS or NGC have even reached prices exceeding $15,000 Australian dollars. But even the regular 2000 20-cent coin, without the mule error, can have collectible interest. Coins in uncirculated or proof condition, especially those still sealed in mint packaging, often sell for several dollars each on online platforms like eBay and Etsy. The price increases if the coin retains strong luster, minimal scratches, and a sharp strike. For the rare mule error, collectors pay attention to small details. The easiest way to check if your coin is a mule is to look closely at the Queen's portrait. If her head seems larger and the rim is thicker than usual, you might have one of those valuable error coins. The difference might be subtle to the untrained eye, but in the world of numismatics, it can mean the difference between a 20-cent coin and one worth thousands. On eBay right now, listings for the 2000 20-cent mule coin are active, with bids ranging in the thousand, and past sales show consistent demand from serious collectors. Heritage auctions and other international coin marketplaces have also reported strong results for this coin, showing that it remains one of the most desirable. We're diving into the incredible story of the 1981 Australian 20-cent coin, a piece of history that has fascinated collectors for decades. Don't underestimate this coin. What seems like an ordinary piece of change in your hand might actually hold a story of craftsmanship, culture, and hidden value. The Australian 20-cent coin of 1981 is part of a long and proud tradition of Australian coinage, and its creation is tied to a period of great change both economically and politically. The design of this coin, with its elegant curves and iconic platypus, represents not only Australia's rich wildlife but also its identity as a modern nation, proudly displaying its uniqueness to the world. The story begins in 1966, when Australia made the historic shift from the British pound system to the decimal system, replacing shillings and pence with dollars and cents. This was a massive national transformation, and the 20-cent coin was among the first decimal coins introduced. Its distinctive design, created by Stuart Devlin, a master goldsmith and designer, quickly became one of the most beloved in Australian currency. Devlin's platypus design wasn't just beautiful, it was deeply symbolic. The platypus, one of nature's strangest and most unique creatures, perfectly captured the spirit of Australia: rare, mysterious, and unlike any other place on Earth. By 1981, the Australian Mint was facing an unusual situation. Due to rising demand for coins, the Royal Australian Mint could not produce enough 20-cent pieces domestically to meet circulation needs. To solve this, Australia reached out to other world-class mints for help. As a result, the 1981 20-cent coin was struck in 3 different locations: the Royal Mint in London, UK, the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa, and of course the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. This international cooperation made the 1981 issue especially fascinating. for collectors because it led to subtle differences between coins from different mints. Each mint produced coins with minor variations in details such as rim thickness, die marks, and finish. Although all featured the same platypus design and Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, experts can distinguish them through these tiny features. For instance, coins made in Canada often have a slightly different look. Their surface quality, strike sharpness, and luster differ slightly from those struck in Australia. This makes identifying the origin of your 1981 20-cent coin a thrilling challenge for numismatists. The obverse of the coin bears the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This version of the Queen's effigy was used from 1966 to 1984 and is easily recognized by her regal crown and serene expression. Around the edge is inscribed, Elizabeth to Australia 1981. This portrait reflects the respect. Today, we're traveling back in time to the year 1983, deep into the heart of Australia's rich numismatic history. Our focus is a tiny yet powerful piece of bronze that has captured the hearts of collectors around the world, the 1983 Australian 2-cent coin. At first glance, it may seem like just another small coin from the past, but as we unfold its history, symbolism, and legacy, you'll realize that this humble 2-cent coin carries a story of art, change, and national pride that goes far beyond its face value. To truly understand the 1983 2-cent coin, we must begin in 1966, when Australia made one of the most historic financial transitions in its history, the shift from pounds, shillings, and pence to the decimal currency system. This change was monumental. It simplified the economy, modernized transactions, and introduced a brand new set of coins that would become cultural icons in their own right. Among them was the 2-cent coin, a small but beautifully designed piece that would shine in the pockets of millions of Australians for decades. The design of the Australian 2-cent coin came from the brilliant mind of Stuart Devlin, the same artist who later became known as the goldsmith to the Queen. Devlin's designs captured the spirit of Australia's unique wildlife and natural environment, and the 2-cent coin was one of his masterpieces. On the obverse, you'll find the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, reflecting Australia's connection to the British Commonwealth. The 1983 coin bears the second portrait of the Queen, designed by Arnold Machin, featuring her wearing the regal tiara, an image that had become instantly recognizable worldwide. But it's the reverse side that truly brings this coin to life. On the back of the coin sits one of Australia's most extraordinary creatures, the frill-neck lizard Chlamydosaurus kingi. This reptile, with its distinctive frill that fans out dramatically when threatened, became a symbol of courage, self-defense, and natural wonder. Stuart Devlin's depiction is nothing short of stunning, capturing the moment of the lizard's defensive display with the frill wide open, ready to face danger head on. It wasn't just a design, it was a statement of identity. The lizard reflected the rugged beauty and fearless spirit of the Australian outback, fierce, proud, and unmistakably unique. The 1983 Australian 2-cent coin was made of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, giving it that warm, reddish-brown tone that glows like polished bronze. It measured 21.59 millimeters in diameter and weighed 5.2 grams. Although small in size, its metallic strength and aesthetic beauty made it a durable and elegant coin. The 1983 2-cent coin was struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, and millions were produced for everyday use. However, while it may seem common, not all 1983 2-cent coins are the same. Some varieties and mint errors have become highly sought after by collectors. For instance, certain coins display pockets and cash registers replaced by memories and collectors' albums. The 1983 issue thus stands as one of the final decades of circulation for the beloved 2-cent coin. While the 1983 Australian 2-cent coin was minted in large numbers, condition and rarity variations make certain examples extremely desirable. Uncirculated or mint condition coins, with their full luster and no wear, can range from $5 to $15. Proof coins, struck specially for collectors, can reach $30 or more. Error coins, such as off-center strikes or double rim variants, can fetch hundreds of dollars, depending on the error and grading. So, yes, that small, shiny 2-cent coin sitting forgotten in a drawer could be worth far more than you imagine. The 1983 2-cent coin wasn't just currency, it was a work of art, a piece of cultural storytelling, and a reminder of Australia's deep connection to its land and wildlife. Every time that frilled lizard flashed its defensive display. On a coin it symbolized resilience and beauty, a creature ready to stand tall against any threat, much like the nation it represented. If you look closely at the coin's reverse, under the lizard's belly you can spot Stuart Devlin's initials SD. This tiny mark is the artist's hidden signature, a secret known to collectors. That adds even more character to the coin. Such small artistic touches remind us that coins are not just metal, they are miniature masterpieces crafted with pride and skill. Even though the 2-cent coin is no longer in use, it remains alive in collections, coin shows, and museums around the world. For collectors, the 1983 edition is a favorite because it represents a time before digital money, a time when physical coins told stories, felt weighty in the hand, and carried the personality of a nation. Holding a 1983 2-cent coin today feels like holding a time capsule, a glimpse into a simpler yet deeply meaningful era. If melted down for its metal content, today the copper in one 2-cent coin might be worth around 5 times its face value. But of course, collectors would never melt such a beautiful piece because its historical and emotional value far outweighs its metal worth. Even decades after being withdrawn, the image of the frilled lizard remains one of the most beloved designs in Australian numismatics. It's featured in books, commemorative art, and educational exhibits about Australia's coinage evolution. The 1983 coin in particular stands out as part of the later minting years before its retirement, making it an essential piece in any serious Australian coin collection. Conclusion: more than just a coin. So the next time you find a 1983 Australian 2-cent coin, remember it's not just an old piece of bronze. It's a symbol of Australia's creativity, heritage, and natural beauty. It carries the spirit of a nation that celebrates both art and nature, and a design that continues to inspire among collectors worldwide. It's proof that sometimes the smallest things hold the grandest stories. The 1967 Australian 20-cent coin, a remarkable piece that not only carries the beauty of design and heritage but also a slice of Australian history that changed the nation forever. This isn't just another coin, it's a symbol of transformation, identity, and the dawn of a new monetary era in Australia. So stay tuned, because what you're about to hear will make you look at this coin with a whole new level of respect. The story of the 1967 Australian 20-cent coin begins just 1 year after one of the most significant economic shifts in Australian history, the decimalisation of currency. On February 14, 1966, Australia officially transitioned from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to the new dollar and cent system. It was a monumental change that affected every Australian. Shopkeepers, banks, and ordinary citizens all had to adapt to a new way of calculating and spending money. The Royal Australian Mint, newly established in Canberra in 1965, took charge of producing the brand new coins that would define this fresh chapter of the nation's economic identity. The 20-cent coin was among the largest and most significant denominations in the new series, equivalent in value to the old florin, designed by the world-renowned Australian goldsmith and artist Stuart Devlin. This coin quickly became a national favorite. Devlin's work was nothing short of genius. His designs for the entire decimal series were inspired by native Australian wildlife, reflecting the country's pride in its natural heritage. For the 20-cent coin, Devlin chose the platypus, one of the most unique creatures on Earth, a mammal that lays eggs. With the bill of a duck, the tail of a beaver, and the feet of an otter, the platypus perfectly symbolized the mystery and individuality of Australia itself. The image on the coin captures the platypus swimming gracefully through rippling water, a sense of movement and vitality that made this design stand out from coins around the world. The 1967 issue of the 20-cent coin is special because it was one of the earliest production years for the new decimal coinage. The Royal Australian Mint was still refining its technology and production methods at the time, which gives 1967 coins a distinctive character compared to later issues. Some of these early coins have subtle variations and striking differences that make them fascinating to collectors today. The obverse of the coin features the elegant and youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, whose work graced the coins of many Commonwealth nations. The Queen is shown wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a symbol of grace and authority. Around her portrait are the inscriptions Elizabeth to Australia 1967. This design reflected Australia's continuing connection to the Commonwealth, while standing as a proud statement of its independent identity. The coin itself is made of cupronickel, an alloy composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a silver-like sheen and strong resistance to wear. It weighs 11.31 grams and measures 28.65 millimeters in diameter, making it one of the heaviest circulating coins in the decimal series. The reeded edge added both security and a touch of sophistication to its look and feel. In 1967, coin production was in full swing to meet the demands of the new currency system. Millions of 20-cent coins were struck that year, but not all were minted in Australia. Some were also produced overseas, particularly in Canada and the United Kingdom, to assist with Australia's high demand for coins. During the transition, these foreign minted coins are identical in design, but sometimes display subtle differences in their strike quality, making them an exciting challenge for numismatists to identify. But here's where the magic really begins. Over the decades, certain 196720 cent coins have become famous for their minting errors and rare varieties. Error coins from this period are incredibly sought after. Some coins were struck off-center, others have double strikes, and a few have even been found with missing details due to worn dies. These minting anomalies can turn a seemingly ordinary coin into one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its rarity and condition. Collectors also treasure the proof versions and coins that remain in uncirculated condition. A 196720 cent coin that has retained its original luster and sharp details can command a high premium in the coin market, especially if it has been graded by a professional service beyond its monetary worth. The 1967 Australian 20-cent coin carries deep cultural significance. It represents the optimism of a young, forward-looking nation embracing modernization. During this period, Australia was stepping confidently into the global stage, developing its industries, expanding trade, and defining its unique identity separate from its colonial past. The coin was part of this transformation, a small but powerful symbol of change. Think about it, this coin passed through countless hands over the decades, carrying stories of everyday life, paying for milk, newspapers, and bus fares in the 1960s, jingling in the pockets of schoolchildren and workers, and now resting in the collections of those who see its deeper historical value. Each coin is a miniature time capsule, a piece of living history that connects the present with the dynamic and transformative era. The platypus design itself remains one of the most beloved in Australian numismatics. Even decades after its release, it still captures the imagination of collectors around the world. It embodies not just Australia's wild